What is going on, everybody? This is Mr. Tony Stark with another gun class setup for you guys. Today we're going to be taking a look at the AN-94. It is the last assault rifle that you unlock in Black Ops 2. It's unlocked at level 55, and you guys will have noticed that with a few patches over the past couple months, the AN-94 has become one of the most used assault rifles in the game. When you're playing multiplayer, even in league play, and you'll even see in the competitive scene, the AN-94 is widespread now, and it wasn't like that whenever Black Ops 2 first came out. It was a weapon that was used here and there. You know, obviously, people that were trying out all the different weapons and unlocks and stuff like that would pick it up and play with it, but it wasn't something that was you know, rated really highly early on. Now with the patches on the assault rifles and things like that, the AN-94, just like its predecessors in the same class of weapon, the AK-47, etc., it is becoming really popular. And that is because of a few things, and we'll get into that in a second. Today we're going to be taking a look at two different class setups for you guys. One for a more open fire, or you know, the loud class as I like to call it, or one for the ghost or the ninja class. And both are possible with this weapon. Just taking a look at the specs on the gun, the AN-94 is, like I said, an assault rifle unlocked at level 55. It has a magazine size of 30 rounds or 40 with an extended clip. In multiplayer, you start with 30 with a backup of 90. And the reload time, which is something to note, if it has rounds in the magazine, the reload time is 2.39 seconds. And if it is completely empty, it's 3.12 seconds. So that's a really slow reload time if you're not using fast mag. So that's something to keep in mind. The rate of fire is 625 rounds per minute, continuous fire, and then 937 rounds per minute if you're using select fire, or just by the first 2 rounds if you're bursting it. The recoil is very low after the first shot, and it's low to medium after the second shot. Bullet penetration is intermediate. It's pretty good for that in that aspect, but obviously the fire mode is automatic, and then 2-round burst if it's select fire. Now, because, like I said before, because this weapon is being used a lot more now than it was before, you will notice that there's a few reasons why people are liking it and why it's being, you know, used so much and why it's so effective. And that's because of the vertical recoil. If you shoot the gun, you'll notice that it does not really have any horizontal recoil. It only moves up and down, just like the AK-47 in Modern Warfare 3. After they fixed it and they patched it, there really wasn't any kind of side-to-side recoil when you were firing it automatic, and that's awesome. So if you're shooting at somebody and you're starting, you know, in the body, and you have your aim on, and you're bursting it, or even if you're just pulling the trigger and you're shooting it automatic, the gun is actually going to recoil up, and you're going to get a lot of headshots. So that's why it's a really good weapon now compared to before they really, I guess, fixed the assault rifles. So with that being said, let's get into the two class setups. The first one is the loud setup that I was talking about. Obviously, you're going to take the AN-94 as your primary. Reflex sight and fast mag. Now, you're going to wonder why I'm not using grip, why I'm not using, you know, if select fire. These are things that you can try out, but for me, what I've found to be the most effective is the reflex sight and the fast mag. Reflex being that you can use the reticle to get your crosshairs right in the middle of the body, and then once you start firing, that recoil pattern is going to send it straight up the body into the head. You're going to get a ton of headshots using the reflex sight. Obviously, fast mag is going to cut your reload time almost in half. It's absolutely essential. For the perks, I took flak jacket, scavenger, and toughness, and then dexterity. Lethal and tactical, as usual, in all of my class setup videos. Those are completely up to you. With this setup, I found it best if you use frag and EMP, just because if you're not using fast hand, C4 is a little bit it's a little tougher to throw. Obviously, you're gonna have to take perk to greed as well to have scavenger and toughness on at the same time. Toughness is going to also help with your recoil. Whenever you're shooting and you're getting shot at, that recoil pattern is going to stay really similar than, you know, it would if you didn't have that. So if you don't have toughness and you're getting shot at, your gun's going to bounce around. It's going to be a lot harder to get those headshots and get those bullets in there. So that's the class setup for that. That's the one that you'll see most people using. You'll see most people using the loud setup with this gun, just because you're playing domination, kill confirm, things like that. You're going to be holding down more wide open areas. You're not really going to be stealthy. But however, with that being said, the second class, or the ninja class, you'll see people using the AN-94 with silencer, and that's what this class setup is for. So you're going to use the AN-94 with silencer and fast mag, so suppressor and fast mag, and then the perk setup of flak jacket, scavenger, dexterity and tactical mask. Because you are going to be creeping around, you're going to need to be more immune to concussions, to flashbangs, to your shock charges, and things like that. So that's why I switched up the perks from perk 2 to perk 3 and added an extra one there. Same thing with the lethal and tactical. You're going to be able to, use whatever you feel like is best. EMPs, again, I say this pretty much every class setup video. EMP is the best tactical weapon or best tactical equipment to use. With that being said, like I said, the AN-94 is now one of the most prevalent guns. It's probably just under the M8 or the FAL. You'll notice a ton of people using it online, in League, and in competitive now because of the vertical recoil and it being so accurate and so deadly. It's a pretty much 3 to 4 bullet kill, so it seems, depending on where you hit it. And that's huge when it comes to online play. So if you guys have any questions or suggestions for a class setup on this weapon, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. Always feel free to click the like button. I always appreciate that. It helps me out a lot. And if you want a specific weapon, I think the next weapon that I'll be doing will be the Vector. I believe it's either the Vector or another sniper. I'm not sure. But if you have a specific weapon you'd like to see before that, let me know as well, and I'll try to get those as soon as possible. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you soon.